Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorials extras video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys two different methods, one of which helps a lot with moving around the 3DMG and the other one which helps make anti-human 3DMG, more specifically these guns, a lot more practical. So the first method I'd like to show you guys deals with making my hook range just a little bit longer than it currently is. There's two ways that I can achieve this, but before that I guess I'll go over the basics of what exactly I want to achieve. Right now in game, your hook range is 120 and this is denoted by the cursor, which is red if you can't hook onto something, and is white as soon as you get within the range of 120. So the first way that you can do this is by jumping into the range of 120 from outside that range. So here you can see I'm at 140, which is clearly greater than 120. What I can do is I can shoot my hooks outside of the range, and then I can jump to the point that it becomes white. And if I get within that 120 range before the hooks hit the tree, then I actually manage to hook onto it, even though I initially shot my hooks at 140. So if I were to do this at 130, for instance, it looks something like this. There you go, I shot the hooks when they were red, but by the time they hit the tree, I was already at white, so then it actually hit the thing. The other way is pretty much the inverse, which is where if I started within the 120 range, and then I jump outside of it, you can see that I still managed to hook onto the tree there, despite clearly being at something around 130 range. So that is the other way that you can break the 120 range. And in an open space like forest, where you can just speed past trees really easily, what you can do with these methods is that you can wait until you are out of range of a certain tree, or you can hook onto a tree even before you get within range of it, and still manage to hook onto it pretty easily. So there you can see I hooked on the tree despite being ages away from it. I think it was at 170 when I first shot my hooks. And so that just describes the utility that these methods provide. So that's the first part of this video, which is hooking onto something that is outside of your 120 range. The second part has to do with guns, and more specifically reloading the guns after you've shot them. So as most of you guys should know, in PvP there is no way to reload in the air. So here I'm in PvE, or I guess more specifically player versus Titans PvT, and this means that I can reload my bullets when I'm in the air, I can reload my bullets when I'm on the ground. I have complete freedom as to where I can reload my bullets. But in PvP, I can only reload my bullets when I'm on the ground. So this means that there's actually a lot of downtime where I simply cannot do anything. I'm just stuck in one position as I reload the bullets, because as you can see, I can't actually reload when I'm running. I have to stand perfectly still and endure this like 2-second animation. And 2 seconds is a lot of time in PvP. So I can actually shave off a lot of time by interrupting the reload animation as soon as the bullets are updated. So if I change my camera type here, I can show you what I'm talking about. So if I reload, you'll notice that on the UI, the bullets actually update before the animation stops. So if we take advantage of that, what we can do is we can interrupt the character way before the animation actually finishes, but late enough that there are still bullets in his hands by the time we interrupt the animations. So you might be wondering, well, how exactly do we interrupt the animation? That's a pretty simple answer. You might be tempted to think it's the attack button. It's not, it's actually the hook button. So here you can see if I reload and I hook onto something, it actually interrupts the reload animation to the point where the bullets come out, but I haven't actually reloaded my bullets yet. As you can see, the guns actually don't have any bullets on them. So what we want to aim for is as soon as I put the bullets in my gun, that's when I want to interrupt. It's pretty obvious now what we have to do. We just have to be very good at timing. You can hook onto the ground, but honestly for PvP, you want to stay moving as much as possible. And if you're already standing in one place for a long enough time, the blades people will just come down and kill you very quickly. So what I recommend is going close to a pillar, or a tree I guess in this case, and hooking onto it so that you're immediately moving away from that position that you were at before. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, then try it out in PvP and you'll see why you want to hook onto a pillar rather than just hooking onto the ground next to you. Either way, let's do this. What we're going to do is just time it very carefully, and I may even slow down this footage just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. As soon as the bullets appear, I'm just going to hook onto this tree. So here we go. There you go. As you can see, a lot of the reload time was completely shaved off, and I don't have to stand around like an idiot for an excessively long period of time. So that's the big feature that I wanted to talk about regarding anti-human 3DMG. The other one is that when you're holding Q and you reload, the hooks break, and you have to make sure like your trajectory is perfect so that you can reload while you're in the air. But if you're holding E, your right hook, as opposed to your left hook, which is what I was doing previously, and I tried reloading with that, you'll notice that my hook doesn't actually break. So here, if I try a better angle so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, I press reload, whoop, I reload perfectly, and I'm still hooked on. And that's a really, really big feature that I think doesn't get noticed at all. It's that you can still remain hooked onto a tree even as you reload. Now, those two seem simple enough by themselves, but the interesting thing is, if I were to interrupt my animation using the left key, using the left hook, I'm like spamming Q right now as he does a reload animation, it actually does not interrupt it. So I have to specifically use the E hook in order to interrupt my animation. This also provides the interesting fact that I can interrupt my air reload using the E button. So here, if I'm just, oh crap. So let's get high into the air. So here, if I'm just flying and I reload, I can interrupt my air reload using the E button as well. So it all just kind of fits together perfectly. It's just the mechanism of the anti-human 3DMG, the way it's been put into the game. So yeah, between those 4 techniques that I talked about, between, you know, jumping out of the range, jumping into the range of your hooks, as well as all this reloading stuff regarding the right hook with the anti-human 3DMG, that should be a lot to play around with. The reason I'm not talking about blades reload is because the animation for that is incredibly fast, and the big point is that in PvP you can do air reloads with blades anyway, so it doesn't really have as much of an impact for blades, whereas if you're playing on PvP with guns, you have to specifically land and then reload. And then once the animation stops, you have to hook out of there. But with this method, you can cut away a lot of that time, and it is honestly a big, big lifesaver to be able to use this. So yeah, I hope this comes in handy more than a few times. It certainly has to me, and I hope I've taught it to you guys well enough that you guys at least understand how to do the stuff that I'm talking about if you can't precisely pull it off because you need some more practice or whatever. But if you don't understand what I'm talking about at all, then feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. I will take a look at them and I will be sure to answer them, maybe in a separate extras video, or maybe just in the comment section, just as a reply to your own comments. That's probably going to be the most common way, but if there's a particularly good question that I think asks, or that I think raises a good point, then I'll be sure to answer it properly with its own video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorials extras. If you did, be sure to give it a like, share with your friends and anyone else who you think will enjoy it or have something to learn from it. Once again, comment, ask questions if you've got anything that you have on your mind or something that didn't make sense in the video. And be sure to subscribe for more tutorials, goodies, and I'll catch you guys next time with another tutorials extras. Take care, guys.